Hey, Dave Lacalio. Today we're going to talk about an RB26 for our vet. What vet are we talking about? Be sure to keep watching. We have two shop cats. We have Fiona and Jackson. Now we take them for getting their teeth cleaned and everything else that you would normally do as a pet owner. And we took I took Jackson to get his teeth cleaned, and when I got him back to the shop, he was gigantic. Like he was like another cat. Like he was gigantic. And when you touch his skin, it was very crunchy. I didn't know what was going on there. I called the vet, and so it ended up that from moving him, there was a mistake made, and actually the tube that intubated him punctured a hole through his lung, or through his esophagus, and when it punctured a hole through his esophagus, all of his air was now going underneath of his skin, and he blew up from this. I took him to Blue Pearl Emergency Hospital in Langhorne, PA, and when they took him back, now this is a very rare thing, but it's not unheard of, and that's one thing I learned, that, you know, I know that our vet loves our cats, and she's always treated me honestly, and she's always figured out, she's always given the plan for care, and I know she was probably beating herself up about what happened, and so I never blamed her. But when I took him there, they realized that they had to do emergency surgery, and the emergency surgery situation is that they can't intubate him because all the air would escape because of the hole in his esophagus, and he didn't know where that hole was. So they had to cut him open, and they'd have to find the hole very, very quickly. They'd have to patch the hole, and in all this time, he is not going to be breathing. You can only imagine my worry at this point, sitting in the emergency room, waiting room, and hopeful that Jackson not only survives, but doesn't have any kind of deficiencies, like he's brain dead or, you know, something like that. All I was trying to do is do the right thing and get my cat's teeth cleaned. So, and it was actually a little sweet part of this story is that there was a beagle that just out of nowhere walks up to me, and he was like piecing the whole room, and he found me and he sat next to me, and he just loved me. And it was really a cool moment because he could probably sense the worry that I had for our Jackson. So long story short, the Dr. Porto comes out and he says, Jackson is a trooper, and he actually made it. So in our conversation, he saw my HeadGames Motorworks shirt on. I had my regular work shirt you guys normally see me in, and he's like, what's that? And I was like, you know, I do cylinder heads, and he's like, oh, you know, I'm building a RB26 for drifting with my son. And I was like, wait, you're a car guy? And we instantly hit it off. And not only is he a car guy, he's into RB26s of all things, right? So like HeadGames, we specialize in RB26s. How freaking cool, and how small this world is. Good things happen to good people. So we have a conversation. I was like, man, when you're ready to do a cylinder head for this thing, please don't call anybody else. I would love to help you with this situation. HeadGames has a shimless bucket conversion. We have all of the stuff figured out for you, and you can have a failure-free combination of parts for whatever power you're trying to make. And as I said, I just really want to make it happen for you. And that's the story we're going to do today. So we're going to pocket port this thing. We're going to digitize it. I don't know if we're going to get it digitized in this video, but we're definitely going to pocket port it. And the parts are going to go in, all GSC parts. And that's going to be the story, guys. So be sure to keep watching. And a little update on Jackson, if you're wondering how the kitty is doing. Well, listen, he has made a full recovery. For a little while, he was walking around with, it looked a little funky. He didn't have all of his fur, and he really showed the scars of the battle he had just won. And it took him a little bit to eat. He went the whole week actually at the vet, so he went to he was still at Blue Pearl, but they moved him to a different Blue Pearl because the one we were at closes during the weekends, and he hadn't eaten for, I don't know, about a week, and it was getting a little scary. I was spending hours and hours there. I even brought him his, he has a shack, like a a cardboard shack that we made for him. It's in a bookshelf, so he like hides underneath there, and he goes into like his little house, which everybody loved. They thought it was really cool that we made him a house out of some cardboard. But so I brought him some things from home, and he just didn't want to eat, and we were able to get him to eat finally. And I brought him back here, and now my man is back to eating like he's in a pie eating contest. He just sucks that shit down like unbelievable. He's so fast, and he's back to loving his daddy and just sitting right next to him. And he has made a full recovery, I'm proud to say. Jackson's been through a battle, and he won. And we have big thanks to Blue Pearl Langhorne, Blue Pearl Levittown, and Dr. Porto. All of you guys did an amazing job, and I really, really appreciate all the love and the understanding that you showed both of us during this tough time. Because, you know, the biggest thing about healthcare of any type is the care part of it. And these people really showed that they cared, and they really embraced an owner that really, really cares about his kitty, and was very distraught. And they let me do whatever I wanted to do. As much as I wanted to love Jackson, these people let me love him. And I really appreciate you guys for that. So now we're on the short side radius of the intake side, and you can see that Nissan does a little bit of porting here, but they don't blend it into this area here. And this is the rest of the turn. So you got to turn here, and this goes into the ball area. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to widen here and here. So widen here, and then I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to blend this all back. So I'm going to lay the short turn back so it goes all the way into the valve seat. Now we're going to switch it over to the HeadGames 3/8 double cut burr to make it nice and flat and just give it like a little surface finish. Moving on to the exhaust side, again, you see the turn has this really big ridge here. So what we're gonna do is just blend this, and we're not gonna lay the turn back per se, but we are gonna widen this again. So this right here and this right here, just like we did on the intake side, we're gonna widen it and we're gonna blend all this into the bottom cut of the valve job from OEM. And that is just gonna make it have a turn. And then we're gonna do the full side. And for this, we're gonna switch back over to the HeadGames 1/2" super spiral burr and with the Makita grinder and get her done. Switching back over to the HeadGames 3/8 double cut burr, and I'm going to just make everything super smooth. Pocket port. Now I know that I didn't measure anything on camera, and if you guys want to see any of that, please mention it below. I'm not going to give you numbers, but I will measure it, so at least you get to see how I measure that stuff and how I figure out my percentages. Alright, so this is part one. We're going to have a part two, and that is we're going to do guide valve job, and I'm going to teach you I'm going to show you what we do for all these things. Now, we make them a shimless bucket conversion. All that's going to be with the GSC power division valves, and we're going to do a 2JZ bucket, and we're going to do a GSC conical spring kit. Like, subscribe, comment below. Love to hear from you. Toodles.